A reading from the book of the prophet Isaiah. Thus says the Lord, just as from the heavens the rain and snow come down and do not return there till they have watered the earth, making it fertile and fruitful, giving seed to the one who sows and bread to the one who eats, so shall my word be that goes forth from my mouth. My word shall not return to me void, but shall do my will, achieving the end for which I sent it. The word of the Lord.
The seed that falls on good ground will yield a fruitful harvest. The seed that falls on good ground will yield a fruitful harvest. You have visited the land and watered it. Greatly you have enriched it. God's water courses are filled. You have prepared the grain. The seed that falls on good ground will yield a fruitful harvest. Thus you have prepared the land, drenching its furrows, breaking up its clods, softening it with showers, and blessing its yield. The seed that falls on good ground will yield a fruitful harvest. You have crowned the year with your bounty, and your paths overflow with rich harvest. The untilled meadows overflow with it, and rejoicing clothes the hills. The seed that falls on good ground will yield a fruitful harvest. The fields are garmented with flocks, and the valleys blanketed with grain. They shout and sing for joy. The seed that falls on good ground will yield a fruitful harvest.
A reading from the letter of St. Paul to the Romans. Brothers and sisters, I consider that the sufferings of this present time are as nothing compared with the glory to be revealed for us. For creation awaits with eager expectation the revelation of the children of God. For creation was made subject to futility, not of its own accord, but because of the one who subjected it, in hope that creation itself will be set free from slavery to corruption and share in the glorious freedom of the children of God. We know that all creation is groaning in labor pains, even until now. And not only that, but we ourselves, who have the first fruits of the Spirit, we also groan within ourselves as we wait for adoption, the redemption of our bodies. The word of the Lord.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Matthew. On that day, Jesus went out of the house and sat down by the sea. Such large crowds gathered around him that he got into a boat and sat down, and the whole crowd stood along the shore. And he spoke to them at length in parables, saying, A sower went out to sow, and as he sowed, some seed fell on the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Some fell on rocky ground, where it had little soil. It sprang up at once because the soil was not deep, and when the sun rose, it was scorched, and it withered for lack of roots. Some seed fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked it. But some seed fell on rich soil and produced fruit 100 or 60 or 30-fold. Whoever has ears ought to hear. The disciples approached him and said, Why do you speak to them in parables? He said to them in reply, Because knowledge of the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven has been granted to you, but to them it has not been granted. To anyone who has, more will be given, and he will grow rich. And from anyone who has not, even what he has will be taken away. This is why I speak to them in parables, because they look but do not see, and hear but do not listen or understand. Isaiah's prophecy is fulfilled in them, which says, You shall indeed hear but not understand. You shall indeed look but never see. Gross is the heart of this people. They will hardly hear with their ears. They have closed their eyes, lest they see with their eyes and hear with their ears and understand with their hearts and be converted, and I heal them. But blessed are your eyes because they see, and your ears because they hear. Amen, I say to you, many prophets and righteous people longed to see what you see but did not see it, and to hear what you hear but did not hear it. Here then is the parable of the sower. The seed sown on the path is the one who hears the word of the kingdom without understanding it, and the evil one comes and steals away what was sown in his heart. The seed sown on rocky ground is the one who hears the word and receives it at once with joy. But he has no root and lasts only for a time. When some tribulations or persecution comes because of the word, he immediately falls away. The seed sown among thorns is the one who hears the word, but then worldly anxiety and the lure of riches choke the word, and it bears no fruit. But the seed that falls on rich soil is the one who hears the word and understands it, who indeed bears fruit and yields 100 or 60 or 30-fold. The Gospel of the Lord. I did encounter a handful of my parishioners from St. Peter the Apostle Parish on the next island west of here as I came into the church today, and I want them to know that as long as their envelope shows up in my collection basket on Monday, all will be forgiven. When we hear parables in the scriptures, whatever gospel they come from, whatever form they take, whether it's something very brief or something a little lengthier, such as we have today, we're always looking for the hero of the story and pointing out that's the good guy or that's the good woman or that's what should have been done in that situation. We hear those parables and we find them in some ways to be comfortable stories because they're talking about someone else. At least that's how we might approach them. The reality is that the parables are challenging us, every one of them. Whether we can feel ourselves in the midst of that story or whether it's something that's very foreign to us, because the word parable means comparison. The word parable means comparison. And so what these parables do, what these stories do, is they present us with an image and they ask us, to whom do you compare in this story? Now, of course, most of us, when we say, who do we compare with, we might always say, it's the hero of the story. I'm the good Samaritan who stopped. I would never pass by the man who was lying by the side of the road dying. I'm the good Samaritan. We would always want to associate ourselves or connect ourselves or see ourselves as a part of that good guy, the hero in the story. But that's really not the purpose of the parables, because as much as they are comparisons, they're also challenges. They're also challenges. And when we hear a parable, we might sometimes gain greater benefit by saying, where do I fit into the side of this story that's not so pleasant? Where do I see myself in this story, not the hero? How do I understand myself as something from this story, as one of the people or one of the circumstances in this story, when that person is kind of on the outside of the covenant, is not living the righteous and holy way? And you can do this with almost all of the parables. They all talk about comparison, and they all are meant to challenge us to say, when am I the rocky soil? When am I the priest or the Levite who passed by and did not help the man lying on the ground? When am I the thin soil? How many times have I been distracted or diverted from following the way of the Lord because I wanted something on the material side? The lure of earthly wealth and riches draws us away. It does. That's our broken human nature. How many times do we take the moment or take the time to look into the story a little more deeply than just saying, oh, isn't that nice? That good thing happened to this person, or somebody finally did the right thing in the story. How many times do we stop and say, Lord, show me where I have been on the outs. Show me where I need to learn from this story, not just rejoice with something pretty or cute or happy that's going on, but how many times do we stop and say, Lord, I see myself in this story, and that's not how it should be. I don't want to be a part of that part of the story. I don't want to be associated. I don't want to associate myself with this individual who did the wrong thing. Lord, your grace can help me turn away. Lord, your grace can help me to move toward the right thing more and more and more. But the reality is, we know this all too well, on this side of the tombstone, that movement toward holiness is going to be frustrating. We are weak human beings. God understands this. That doesn't mean he gives us a pass and says, oh, don't worry about it. He says, what I give you is my grace, so that when those moments of temptation, those moments of weakness arise, you can say, Lord, you can do this in my life. My weakness makes it impossible. My lack of interest, my being tired, my being angry, I'll go some other way. But Lord, your grace can be the power that I need to live a life of righteousness in this particular situation. There's not a soul here who doesn't know that reality, unless, of course, you are a saint. No hands are being raised, I see, which is a good thing. We know the reality of sinfulness in our own lives. Don't point at someone else. Don't nudge your spouse in the side at this moment and say, see, he's telling you, he's telling you. We know it in our own lives. What we need to know more deeply, what we need to trust more deeply, is the power of God's grace. When we read back and read the stories of the saints, the people who did extraordinary things, not because they were necessarily wealthy or powerful or intelligent or handsome or strong, they did extraordinary things because they knew God's will, and they were willing to face the frustration that was going to come when they started to do the right thing. We'll face that frustration because people won't understand us. We'll face that frustration because they'll laugh at us. We'll face that frustration because we're quite certain we don't have the training or the resources necessary to accomplish this task or that task. And God is saying, keep moving. Don't let this stop you. I will multiply the grace that you have. I will multiply the gifts that you have. The parables are always comparisons. And sometimes we have to admit to ourselves, we don't always compare with the hero of the story. There are times when we need to listen to these parables as challenges as much as nice, pleasant stories. And there are those times we need to say, Lord, you can make the change that needs to be made in my life.